Hello, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Believe in Iowa State podcast. I'm your host Tyler Carter.
And I'm your host, Cody Vanciolum.
Cody, welcome back. It has been a really really good bye week. We had a lot of stuff happen, but first, before we talk about that, we are going to take a look into Baylor. So let's go and talk about that. This is our second time playing Baylor. The first time, the Cyclones were victorious in Waco, 70-60. So today we're going to take a
Yeah,
look. We'll share
yeah.
our screen. Yeah.
It was one of the Baylor was one of those games. It was kind of uncharacteristic. It was like kind of in the middle of that stretch where Iowa State maybe wasn't playing their best ball, and it was an ugly. That was an ugly first half. It was like a 25-24. The shooting wasn't great that night, but I think the story of that game was Taman Lipsey in the second half.
Yeah, no, definitely it was. Taman Lipsy. That was back when Taman was still struggling in the first half and coming along in the second half. But that was really before we saw Killian Torrey was still in his rut, and this was before Jim Marion Bateman was coming into his own. And now that you've seen both of them sort of emerge as options offensively, you've seen Taman play a lot more free.
Yeah, and I think as a result of that, we saw that in the last game against Kansas State, we mentioned he had four steals and it looked like he was on pace for 40 at one point. But I think this is a much better Iowa State team in Baylor, and on the Baylor side, they started conference play 1-7, but have rattled off two straight, winning in Morgantown and then like, blowing out Colorado. So there's a little bit of momentum with the Baylor Bears coming into Hilton Coliseum.
Definitely, it's obviously you don't. This is a game where you this is still part of the easy part of your schedule before the basically the hellish end to the season. Usually it comes in like the middle of the season, but for the Cyclones it comes at the end of the season for them.
Yeah, and then I mean, just in this kind of case, and I mean, there's going to be a whiteout, so this is going to be aired on ESPN at about 1 o'clock Central Time. Iowa State is a 15 to 16 and a half point favorite, so uh, Vegas is expecting this game to be another blowout, like it has been for the last four games. Iowa State, and quite frankly, I think that's what Iowa State needs to do to continue to prove that they are in fact a national title contender. Is you beat these teams that are like below, like that are kind of on paper below you, that you're more talented than, you blow them out, and that's what I'm expecting Iowa State to do tomorrow.
Yes, I agree. We're gonna take a look on Evan Maya at Baylor. As always, thank you, Evan Maya, for showing. Um,
Yeah. While you get that, taking a look at Baylor's box score from the last game against Colorado, they shot 10 of 24 for 41% from three, and they shot 80% for the free throw line. This was probably one of the better showings in the entire season. Yesufu had 27 points with seven rebounds. Cameron Carr with 19 points, eight rebounds, six assists, so he can fill the stat sheet. And then Agbim with 19 points and six assists. So this, I mean, it's kind of like when Iowa State played Colorado. You don't expect much other than to blow out the team, but I think Baylor coming in, yeah, they finally got something, and maybe you look to Carr and Yesufu to get you going. But last time Baylor played Iowa State, I think Iowa State did a really good job at. I mean, that whole game was just bad shooting by both teams, but the second half, Iowa State was able to crank up the shooting and were able to hold Baylor at a distance.
yeah, and you saw the guy Obi Agbim that you just said. These are showing Baylor's metrics by their offensive and defensive metrics, and then their total player metrics. You see that Cameron Carr is the highest graded player at 7.42. Obi Agbim at 4.60. This formula is brought is uh, added by the offensive player rating and defensive player rating, and then it gets your total player rating. And their worst graded player is James Kuykendall, and obviously James Najee, a guy who just came back from the NBA. Obviously, if you take a look down, it will tell you their most efficient lineups. You look at um, the top five, their top five guys, or at least the top five guys that would give you the best off raw offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency. Um, it gives you the highest margin in between the offensive and defensive efficiency. With Obi Agbim, Cameron Carr, um, Caden Powell, Dan Skillings Jr. If you remember that name, Dan Skillings played at Cincinnati last year. He transferred to Baylor, and Tunde Yesufu. So look for this lineup. This might be a lineup that we see. Obviously, this is something that this if they look at analytics, this might be um, a lineup that they possibly use and that we possibly see on Saturday. So the Cyclones definitely have to be ready for that.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, just looking at the three man with Agnew, Carr, and Powell, just the defensive efficiency is decent. Raw efficiency can be better, but yeah, maybe Baylor's starting to find their footing a little bit offensively, so that's something to consider. But one thing I did like in this matchup for Iowa State is the defensive intensity that has been refound,
Hmm.
and that has been very crucial. And one player that has gotten a lot of love is Nate Heisey. In the men's basketball press conference yesterday, TJ Otterberger spoke praise about Nate Heisey and what he brought to the table.
Yeah, um, Nate Heisey has been improving every single game, dude. He had what 11 and 5 in the K State game. So I just what we talked about on Monday's show is that if he can get going, that's just another just player that you can get off the bench that can contribute in a big time spot, to where, if let's say, because you're going to go through droughts in the tournament, somebody else that you can turn to, because obviously all the other offenses and defenses are going to be looking for to stop like Momcilovic and Jefferson getting in the paint. But obviously you still have Lipsy and Torre, and obviously Buchanan too.
Yeah.
But let's oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and I was just going to mention this is around the time when Nate Heisey turned it on last year. It's like when the calendar turned to February
Hmm.
and into March. This is when he turned it on. So if we get something like that this year, it's going to really be helpful. And obviously, you have the addition of Bateman off the bench, Plata off the bench, who gets good minutes, have a good 8 to 9 man rotation. So that could be really helpful.
Oh, that's definitely for sure. Now let's talk about key matchups. Because one of the things that I saw from, you know, I'm looking at the box score from a few weeks ago. This game was back in January. Um, Cameron Carr was the high point guy with 17 points, 5 of 7 from the free throw line, and 2 of 6 from three. He had 17 points, and then Tunde Yesufu inside with 10 points and 8 boards. Um, and then Caden Powell contributing 11 points off the bench and 11 rebounds. So he had a double double coming off the bench. What are some of the matchups that you are going to be looking at in this game, specifically for the Cyclones?
Definitely, like I would say between Taman Lipsy, Killian Torrey, and Nate Heisey, who matches up on the Cameron Carr, because that's probably going to be assignment number one, and then who's going to be on Yesufu. So I'm guessing whoever's like, I would presume that Cameron Carr, it would probably be Torre, and then Lipsy gets Yesufu, or it could be the other way around. But that's just the flexibility that I wish they has with its guards, and even Jamarian Bateman, because he can play good defense as well. So Iowa State has riches when it comes to who guard the backcourt of Baylor. Forward wise, Najee would definitely obviously go up against Jameer or Blake Buchanan, but I could see Dominicus Plata getting some time as well to relieve Buchanan.
Yeah, Dominican player is definitely going to get some playing time in this game. As you know, Iowa State is definitely going to try and shorten this game again because this is what we've been seeing. Three out of the last four games that we've seen, as they've been just destroying teams and blowing out teams.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, and that's just been really great. And I think something that helps too, yeah, just turning those. We've always talked about this. Is like one of the big keys is um, turning the ball, like turning teams over and getting out in transition. That's huge. But something else that's been big and has been the glaring highlight is Milo Momcilovic. And I think I saw this recently. There was something like there was analytics about like corner threes, and Milo Momcilovic is among the top five in all college basketball when it comes to hitting corner threes.
yeah, you know what? Let's take a look at that.
Yeah, I think it
We're gonna
was.
take a look because you probably have those type of uh, type of analytics for Milan.
Yeah, I think I found it.
So,
Yeah, it's a CBB analytics. If you can let me share, because I found the
oh,
CBB.
sure, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go
I
ahead and
will.
share that. I got it. So, so this is just a list of leaders in corner threes. Nick Dorn out of Indiana. We've seen him emerge as a big piece of Indiana. He leads the country with 28 made corner threes. Richie Saunders is a name I'm not surprised about. 25 threes from the corner. Malik Thomas out of Arkansas, 24. Milan Momcilovic is fourth with 22. But if you notice, if you look at the percentage of the field goal percentage attempts, Milan blows everybody out of the water with 61% attempted from the corner.
Insane.
And
Wow.
yeah, this is just continues to add on to the year that Milan Momcilovic is having, and it just feels like Milan like he can hit he can hit a three from just about anywhere. He probably hit it from the Pioneer logo or even the midcourt logo. So, and that's a big thing. And like, it really feels like you're watching like Milan play double dribble. If you ever watched Family Guy.
Yeah. Corner three. Corner
Yeah,
three.
yeah, I'm genuinely surprised Iowa State hasn't leaned into that because I was hoping they do that for retro night because of all the like the retro graphics. So I thought double dribble was going to be part of it, but maybe one day we'll fulfill that dream.
One day, one day, my friend. Um, Now, obviously, we talked about a lot about matchups with Evan Maya and college basketball analytics. Now, let's talk about our three keys in the game. Cody, I'm gonna have you go first. What are three keys for Iowa State to come out victorious again on Saturday?
Number one, this is going to be unlike the first game. Is really be able to score the basketball efficiently because, I mean, that game was way closer than it was than I thought it could have been. If Iowa State was able to land more shots, it would have been a blowout. But because of like this like the inability to hit baskets in the first half, it was still a 1 point game. So it was just bad shooting all night long. So really getting off to a good start, like shooting wise, would be helpful. So get some early looks from Milan, get like some easy looks for Torre and Lipsy to get them early, to build up their confidence to shoot the basketball. And you obviously know what you're getting out of Josh Jefferson. Number two, continue to turn Baylor over, force that really just play that high ball pressure defense. It's worked the last few games. You know, Baylor's going to try to scout that out, but always like you try to throw in a new wrench and you just got to be committed. So want to see the hustle, want to see the effort that we've been seeing out of these last few games, and I think TJ is going to demand that because of obviously we saw in
Mm-hmm.
the Kansas State game, even when they were up 23, because they gave up a 10-4 run, TJ was all over them for the slower start. So kind of having that intensity for 40 minutes because not a lot of teams are going to be able to handle that. Houston can definitely, but outside of them, who can handle 40 minutes of a high pressure defense that Iowa State would play? So,
Right.
and then number three, this like all this is the whole thing. Use the atmosphere, get the crowd going. This is going to be like a while. Obviously, the crowd hasn't been necessarily crowds haven't been great this year. It's just given who you've had at Hilton the whole year the whole season so far. But this is going to be one of those games where I think the crowd's going to get up because even though Baylor's having an off year, it's still Baylor. It's still Scott Drew. So get the crowd going and keep them going. Like get the crowd going. That's really the key because If they get going, you can knock out Baylor early and never let them like you end the game. You end the game before the game even starts. Is the message I have.
That's a great analysis there, Cody. I know for me, number one is going to be continue what you're doing on the offensive side of the ball. Iowa State, the last 3 to 4 games, has had elite ball movement, and as you've seen, the offense has looked amazing. Taman has looked energized. Everybody is just contributing, and also just to stay on the boards. We've been out rebounding the last few teams that we've beaten. So I think those two things right there are wound up in my first key. Second key, um, keep turning them over. Um, Iowa State, as a result of their defense, is going to force a lot of live ball turnovers. So obviously that's one way to just jumpstart their offense to turn it into points. So for me, I think that's going to be key. So, like I said, once again, keep doing what you're doing on the defensive side of the ball. Number three, the crowd. Hey, man, whoever is going, y'all need to get into it, you guys, because we need that energy next Saturday when we play Kansas. When we really get into the schedule, and then the next Monday after big Monday after that against Houston. So practice for next week. Do it for me. I won't be able to come, but do it for me and be loud and be loud often.
Wait. Yeah, and also don't be the guy who doesn't wear white because he thinks he's different or whatever. This is the whiteout. It's easy to get Iowa State whiteout clothing. There's no excuse for it.
Old people, you heard that. Don't be hard headed. Wear white because those are the ones that are usually going to be hard headed.
Yeah, I mean, there's really like, I mean, even with the white, I mean, you just like those. The I've been loving the fact we've been wearing throwback jerseys for all of conference like home games. That's been really fun.
It has been great. I love those throwback jerseys.
Yeah. So we go from Iowa State, and I think we got to talk about Big Monday. It's been a few days since we watched Kansas take on Texas Tech in Lubbock for Big Monday. When were you watching that the whole way through?
Yes, I was. It was an interesting start to the game because I saw that Texas Tech was up by double digits. I was like, oh man, Texas Tech is really about to get a huge comeback win um on that. And then I'm like, this race is really about to tighten up, and Kansas was like, not so fast, my friend. Um, and I mean, I don't know if you heard the chant from the
Oh,
Texas
the
Tech
Texas Tech student
fans.
section. Yep.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was
yeah.
like,
So
ooh.
yeah. I saw the videos like so. This is gonna segue into kind of like the performance of Darren Peterson. Uh, Crowd obviously like let their feelings be known about how they felt about Darren Peterson as a player. To quote them, it'd be he's a pussy. They would chant that way shooting free throws. And let's say he just turned into Michael Jordan. He said, and I took that personally. And then what he did at the end of the game, I'm like, yeah, no, there's no reason why this guy shouldn't be considered in the top two, if not the number one overall draft pick in the NBA. He continues to build on that. Just those two like big threes from Darren Peterson reminded me of Ray Allen.
Yeah, that is his comp right now is and not just Ray Allen. He's talking about young Ray Allen when he was on the Milwaukee Bucks coming up in the league. So I totally can see it because he was a very explosive player in Milwaukee. But yeah, I like that's what really gets me excited because next week's game against Kansas is going to be cinema, and you
Yep.
know that we're going to have him for the rest of the year. So I don't think he'll probably be on a minutes restriction at that point.
Yeah, this game showed he won't be. And then something else too, Texas Tech was without Christian Anderson. And I mean they competed for the most part. in this game, but there were moments in this game where you felt like if Christian Anderson was in the game, he would make a better play. And I think Texas Tech sorely missed him. And I heard he was out, like it was like sickness or something. They tried to get him ready, like going for the second half, but he still wasn't feeling great. So that was a loss for Texas Tech, and I think it showed even how close this game was.
Oh, definitely for sure. He made a difference in this game. I'm right now. I'm trying to look for um the 3-point shots in the
Yeah.
game so that
Oh yeah, I see Kansas. So they shot 6 of 20 from three with Darren like before that they were 4 of 18, but then Darian Peterson hit those back-to-back clutch threes to ice the game. And then Texas Tech, I mean, the first half it was bad. It was bad for them shooting from three. It was like 6 of 25, I believe. And then I saw they started the second half shooting 6 of 8 from three.
all right. 1 second, Cody. We're gonna go back to this. We're gonna watch the video as we look at and see the 3-pointers that he hit. So tune in and let me share my screen. We're gonna watch these.
Yeah, I'm seeing just a lot of like talk about. Okay, I don't know. Wait, so speaking of Darren Pierce, do you see that meme of like I don't know, was it called? Okay, yeah, you got it now. So well, looks like we lost them. So I was gonna mention about Darren Peterson was just two really clutch shots made back to back. Oh, it's back. Kind of lost you there for a second.
Yeah, my bad. I had to recoup everything because my um the what my background cropped out. So we're gonna go back to that video and watch it. So yeah. They're really for it to show you guys show the justice of how big these shots were in actually in person. So here we go, and I'm gonna start the video.
Caught Atwell on the screen, and that was big.
He'd been so quiet for so long. His first points of the half. And Bidunga checks Toppin. Good basketball.
Oh, yeah, both teams. Take a look right here. Watch this flare screen right here. See it? And even Toppin challenges, but that's Darren Peterson to a T. Great.
Amazing.
So yeah, he was able to get separation on that one. We're gonna go a little bit later on in the game. So as this three, they take the lead. So watch here with us.
Buries it.
Wow.
Feet love it. Peterson buries
Let me go
it.
back. Sorry.
Here we go.
Here we go.
61 apiece, under a minute to go. Everybody on their feet love it. Peterson buries it.
Wow.
So I mean, you see, he has ice water in his veins, dude. Like it's absolutely insane how big and a clutch of a player that he is as he comes in and just as a freshman has ice water in his veins.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the video on me, but there was another video of it showed the Darren Peterson shot from a different angle, and like I was looking at the Texas Tech student section, and it's like as soon as they put up as soon as Darren Peterson puts up the shot, you saw the surrender Cobras come out, and because they knew that thing was pure and that thing was going in, and they were like, oh shit.
That's always the best thing as an athlete is like when you go in there and they're talking stuff about you, and you go in there and just hit a cold-blooded shot, and just the silence speaks volumes. Let's go more deeper into the numbers. Um, Kansas shot 10 of 13 from the free throw line, 77%. Like you said, they only shot 6 of 20. Were efficient 45%. Let's see who everybody else who contributed. Floyd Raduga had a good game, 14 and 9. Bryson Tiller only chipped in with 3 points, but he also had 10 rebounds. Melvin Cantor Jr. had 16 and 7. Trey White with 10 and 6. Obviously, Darren Peterson, high point man with 19 and 2, and then Amarco Jackson coming off the bench with 2 points and 1 rebound. So the on the defensive rebounds, they were able to edge out the Red Raiders by 7 rebounds. And so that was the key in Texas or in Kansas's big victory over Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Right now we're going to go back. Now the standings right here are a lot more clear on the right hand side. It is now Arizona, Houston, Iowa State, Kansas, and Kansas. So, I mean, these are the 4 teams right now that have a realistic shot in staying in the race for the Big 12 regular season title.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking as it stands right now. I mean, Arizona, no doubt, they're still the clear favorite, but they have a couple key trips later, like coming up. They got to go to Houston and to Allen Fieldhouse. So I think for Arizona, like we're gonna really see if this Arizona team is legitimate, if they can like go perhaps undefeated. And so I would guess they do split the Houston and Kansas trips, but it would surprise it would be impressive if they were to win at both places, at both Allen Fieldhouse and at Fertitta Center.
Yeah, I mean, basically, like we thought, we basically were saying at that point, if they were to sweep both of those games, that would probably you should probably just give them the title there. Obviously, we will still have like 7 games at that point, but it would basically be all but over. But yeah, that was a great start off to the week. We're not right now. We're gonna move to Wednesday, as we had 4 games go along, as well as an upset. Obviously, the first game, UCF coming off of a huge game against Texas Tech. They got humbled and lost by 24 on the road to to Houston, as Kingston Flemings was the high point man in this game, who had 18 points, as the Houston Cougars cruise over UCF 79-55.
Yeah, I think this one kind of stings if you're mid Central Florida, UCF, because obviously you're coming off that big win over Texas Tech. That gets you basically like you were in the race potentially to be like a dark horse for the Big 12 title. Now you get piss pounded by Houston in the first half. Yeah, that kind of was the sign. I was like, oh, yeah. So the things that happened in this game, I mean, not many teams or any team's going to really be able to out rebound Houston. And I think even with a guy like John Bull, you can only do so much when you're going up against Chris Sennick and JoJo Tugler, rebounding wise. So that's a high task to expect. But yeah, just Houston they continue to do what they do to most teams, and they just absolutely like lock you down defensively. Are the more physical team up on the glass, and they cruise to a 24-point win. But I still think for UCF, there is like they put themselves in a really good position to get into the tournament as the 7th team, maybe like as an 8 or 9 seed. They just have to continue to take care of business everywhere else. And just taking a quick glance at their schedule, they do have to go to BYU, so that can be interesting here February. So that's another big opportunity for them to pick up a road win. against the ranked team. So let's see how that goes. But yeah, so far UCF has really done great. And I mean, for the purposes, I would dare say Johnny Dawkins should get an extension because I believe his contract expires after the 26-27 season.
Yeah, he's done an absolutely great job. Obviously, one of the struggles for UCF was basically you're not really going to win when everybody in a lineup and on your bench is scoring in single digits. Like it's just like nothing was going down for them in the first half, which was they only scored 19 points, and by the time they had a good scoring half in the second half, it was already too little, too late, and Houston basically suffocated them for this win. Um, Now, as we move on, man, you want to talk about a great game, Cody? Oklahoma State has been a team that we've been talking about that could be on the bubble, and they got that signature win of the year as they go and upset BYU at home, 99-92.
Yeah, Oklahoma State, they were able to keep up with the shooting of BYU. Yeah, I mean, looking at it, obviously AJ DeBance, the
Yeah,
guy, he
Anthony
got
Roy.
36.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he got 36 points. Richie Saunders continues shooting from three, but yeah, Oklahoma State, they were able to keep up with BYU, and that was really impressive. Like that was really nice to see, and it was like Oklahoma State needed that one desperately, and it was really showing. But go take a look at Oklahoma State's box score.
Yeah. So as you see right here, um, with their box score, you see a very very good contributions by Parsafala with 13 points and 7 rebounds, Victorious Miller 14 points and 4 rebounds, as well as Christian Coleman with 10 and 6. Also, Jalen Curry coming off the bench and providing 18 and 6.
Yeah, I think this was the Oklahoma State team that I think I was expecting to see come out of non-con because they were pretty impressive. Like, granted, they didn't have the best non-con schedule, but they looked pretty impressive and they could like make some noise in the Big 12. It didn't look like that for a little bit, but it looks like they've found their footing with this win, and who knows, maybe Oklahoma State could play spoiler to somebody that's like they play spoiler to one of the teams that potentially be shooting for the Big 12, like for top four seeding in the Big 12 or seeding in the Big 12 tournament in general.
Honestly, no, let's take a look at that because this is a great discussion point right now. Here is the rest of their schedule. I'm gonna go off of it. So Saturday, tomorrow they go on the road at Arizona. Their Arizona trip at Arizona State. They host TC at home. They host Kansas on the 18th. At Colorado, at West Virginia at home, at Cincinnati, at UCF, and host Houston at home to end the season. So I guess really out of Arizona, Kansas, and Houston, out of those three teams, who do you think they have the best chance of beating?
I would have to probably say Houston because I mean Houston's gonna be very physical, but I think Oklahoma State, yeah, that's the one I think on paper looks like they could get the win against. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they're able to match. Like maybe you have a guy like Anthony Roy match that scoring ability against a Darren Peterson. Maybe you have Paris
Mm-hmm.
Fala going up against like Florida Dunga. And I think the athleticism of Oklahoma State can help keep up with Kansas. And maybe if they catch maybe if Jalen Curry off the bench goes for like 20 plus, that could be really helpful.
Yeah, um, that it could be very very helpful, very useful for Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State can score the ball, and I mean if you can catch somebody off of a off shooting night, I could totally see it happening for them. Obviously they have 7 games, one, two, three, four. I mean, honestly, you look at these one, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could realistically see Oklahoma State finish like 5-3. With that schedule, there's a lot of winnable games on there, which will put them at 21-9, which would be not bad, and that would probably be good enough to even put them in a tournament. Probably depending on who those wins are against. I think 21-9 in the first season. I think that would be they would be safely in, and that could possibly just be another team that could also make the tournament for the Big 12.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, the 21-9 and the 5-3. I mean, I'm still looking at that UCF game because UCF, yeah, like I think UCF and Oklahoma State that's an underrated game because those two teams are kind of like they're trending in the right direction. So that could be a late game that could decide like who goes like if maybe Oklahoma State can sneak into the tournament and maybe try to keep UCF out of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, no, yeah. One thing I will say is that yeah, I think UCF has to keep wanting to improve their resume to make sure that they're surely in as they continue to have their great season. Here and then we're going to talk about some of the other results that happened on Wednesday. Okay, so Baylor goes on the road and gets a huge win at Colorado, 86-67, and Arizona State gets back into their winning ways as they beat Utah on the road, 71-63. We move to Thursday, and this was uh, a defensive battle. West Virginia goes on the road to Cincinnati and gets a huge win as they win 59-54.
One thing I think I saw in this game, what didn't Cincinnati have a double-digit lead on West Virginia at one point? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, let me go back to the win probability chart. We're gonna have that for you in a minute. Let's look.
Yeah, I mean, man, Cincinnati, they had it. They had it right there. Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, yo, look at the going in the first half. They were up 10 at halftime, and then just for whatever reason, they just could not be able to put away West Virginia. And what happens then? West Virginia they outscore Cincinnati 39-24 in the second half, and it just like it. Wes Miller, like that seat's getting warmer and warmer by the day.
It makes sense why he got booed when we were there, because like, and I completely understand why like Cincinnati fans want him gone. We went into that conversation about them being a story program and them expecting better. But yeah, man, it is a mess right now in Cincinnati, and like I said on Monday's show, it's only a matter of time before he's fired. Let's also take a look at um the slate on Saturday. On TNT at 1 p.m. we have Kansas State going on the road to Fort Worth to play TCU. Utah going to Fog Island to play Kansas. Oklahoma State going on the road to play Arizona. Arizona State playing Colorado, and for the nightcap, Big 12 After Dark. If you're able to stay up on Saturday night, Houston goes on the road to play a wounded BYU.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. For that 9:38 Big 12 After Dark game, I'm taking the Cougars if you ask me.
Smart, very very smart choice, Cody.
Yeah, and then I mean, taking a look real quick. Pulse like for TCU, this has to be must win if they're gonna try to make a run to sneak into the tournament, because boy oh boy, like I thought TCU was gonna do with how the non-con played out, losing. Like this is the weird thing with TCU this year. They were very competitive. Michigan almost beat them in their building, but then can't forget they also lost to New Orleans opening night of the season. So this has been a really up and down year for TCU. But if they want to have a chance, a slim chance of trying to sneak into the NCAA tournament, they got to win this game. So this is a must win for them here. And then I guess on the side of Kansas State here, like if things go from bad to worse to a dumpster fire essentially. That's what's been going on in Kansas State this past week.
Yeah, there is no hope for them, and at this point, like their fans can only hope that football cures their pain from basketball season.
Yeah, looking at Utah, Kansas, I expect Kansas to absolutely bludgeon Utah. I don't expect this to be a game.
I agree. So that is a look at the conference slate. Obviously, this is something like what we talked about um, before. We're gonna go and do our weekly Big 12 top five. Obviously, now this is something that we're gonna do more towards the end of the season. Now that we have a top five that is basically been consistent. Cody, what are your top five teams?
I'm going so I don't think anything's changed out of the top two. Number one would be Arizona, Houston number two. Number three, I think I would put right now would be Kansas.
Yeah.
They've been impressive. They just got the win in Lubbock, and they beat the number 14 that I had in mind, which is Iowa State. Now, Iowa State, like what they've been doing, even though they haven't been playing the best competition, they've been blowing out teams, and that's what you do to teams that are below you, like talent-wise, and you should be. You beat the tar out of them. And that's exactly what they've been doing. Expecting to do that tomorrow. So, and then number five, I would go Texas Tech. Even without Christian Anderson, they still showed they were competitive against Kansas, but you can tell they clearly missed it. But I still look at Texas Tech as that 15, that number 5 team, because after the loss of BYU to Oklahoma State, yeah. So that's kind of where I have it. So nothing changed out of the top two, but generally shuffle the next three.
Yeah, mine's going to be just the same. Arizona has bar none been the best team in the conference for the entire year. So Arizona's number one. Number two is definitely been Houston. Houston has been consistent all year long, and I knew they would get it together in conference. They struggled a little bit in the non-con. Three is Kansas. Kansas is playing out of their minds mainly because we were the ones that that got them back to where they are now. Number four is Iowa State, like you said. Um, because of that, they Iowa State is killing teams, but Iowa State has a chance to move up in these rankings if they can take care of business, especially with the big weekends that they have next weekend. And fifth, like you said, is going to be Texas Tech. Texas Tech has been solid. Christian Anderson gets back. He's definitely going to make a difference in a lot of these results. So that is the Big 12 top five for you.
You mentioned, us being the reason they got back to where they were. As soon as I heard Meek Mill, I was like, oh, yeah, it's over. I was like, oh, crap. We're going to get killed. And what happened? We got killed.
Yeah. So we're going to do something fun. Cody, do you know what happens on Sunday?
What?
The Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, me is I don't know what it is, but this Super Bowl, I haven't really, I know it's happening, but it's I don't know, this is just completely random, but it hasn't felt the hype doesn't feel the same as it happened in years past, and maybe that's just me having my nostalgia glasses on, watching the likes of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, that generation. It's what I grew up on, and they were consistently winning and contending for Super Bowls.
Yeah. So with that, I obviously, as you guys know, we have we are sponsored by FanDuel. So on the show tonight, we are going to help you put together the perfect parlay as we go through. Obviously, we're just gonna place it. But there are some nice juicy odds. Obviously, we have Super Bowl props right here. As I share my screen, but here we are on FanDuel right here. These are the game specials right now. These are basically all records for the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 props. and then it also has a correct score repeat. So obviously, as you know, these teams played in the Super Bowl 11 years ago as New England won 28-24. There is a plus 10,000 parlay. I honestly do think that this could be a score that we could see. Um, so let's just say you think that the Patriots are going to win for some reason. You're not respecting the Seahawks. Let's say that you're crazy enough to do this. So we're going to add this to the bet slip. So we're going to add that. Marcus Jones scored a touchdown. Chris Tonga scored a touchdown. Points scored in each quarter. Any linemen to score offensive TD, any defensive or special teams TDs in the game. I think that could happen. So we're gonna add that. Shoot, you can even have. Oh, look, that I don't think that can even be combined to parlay. So never mind. Um, so you see that there's Seattle offensive Seattle special teams or New England special teams. So I mean, if you really look at it, I've seen Seattle score in the postseason. So we're gonna say Seattle special teams score TD on like a blocked punt or maybe a kick return, like we saw in this 49ers game. So we can add that. Fortunately, we can't right now. I'm trying to figure out parlay, but there can't, you know, or maybe you're one of those people that think that there's gonna be no touchdown at all, and it's gonna be a 12-9 game. If you think that there is no touchdown in the game, there is a plus 17,500 odds for this. So I mean, there's all these different props right here. There's a plus 10,000 for the game to go to double overtime. I mean, if you're one of these sickos that want to see double overtime in the Super Bowl, that would be absolutely insane. I mean, a lot of people will probably be pissed because they got to go to work, but man, I mean, there's tons of stuff. There's Cooper Cup that they're 1+ passing touchdowns. If you don't think if for some reason Sam Darnold gets hurt, and then there's just Super Bowl, regular Super Bowl bets right here. You have the over under the spread and the money line. And then here are more things that you can bet on right here. Obviously, here's one right here. There is cut from the same cloth, star score style points. So here is a popular one that probably has good odds to win right here. We have Hunter Henry anytime touchdown score, Drake May anytime touchdown score, Jackson Smith and Jigba anytime touchdown score, and Kenneth Walker anytime touchdown score. And there have been 25,000 people that have already placed this bet. So if you put a $10 wager on there, you will win $432. Let's look at the popular ones that we've seen right now. So like, I mean, Cody, what would this parlay that you see right here? Would this be something that you would bet on? Because it seems um like this is like a no brainer bet right here.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. Yeah, I would think this would be something I would put. I'm curious to see if Stephon Diggs would be a popular like an opinion to like maybe option to swap if I did want to swap Hunter Henry and could do that. Maybe put in Zach Charbonnet because he could definitely score. I'm looking at. Let's see. Kayshawn Moody would definitely be an option I'd consider, and just overall, yeah. There's a lot of options, but me personally, yeah, I could see the Drake May score, and obviously we got to have it for the legacy, for the legacy of the memes. Drake May go off in this game.
Drake May. Yeah.
Fun fact, I love him.
Yeah, Jackson. Oh, yeah. I mean, and you see on the Seahawks, you see Jackson Smith and Jigma to score twice, plus 350. Rashid Shaheed with plus 390. You look at Cooper's Cup scoring 2 times. That's plus 1,200. So there are tons and tons of different types of uh stuff that you can bet on and different props that you can bet on. You can even bet on the coin toss and what is if it's going to be heads or tails. You can bet on the quarter. You can bet on the quarter props. These are the ones that are really cool for alternatives passing yards. Game just there's game specials right here. Each team to score one plus rushing TD and plus passing TDs in each half. That's plus 10,000. That's really good odds right there. That'd be a nice one to hit. Let's see. Let's look at, and then there's already ready-made parlays right here. There's a money line and total points parlay. So you can do let's say you want to do Seattle to hit this, or you want to that's plus 175, or Seattle to or and then you can do Seattle. Let's say you want to do this, or you want to do New England. Like there are so many different things that you can do when you bet with FanDuel. You can also play squares, the FanDuel Squares final score. So basically, how squares work is you can basically they're settled on the last digit of each team's scores at the end of the game. So let's say that the Seahawks win like 30-25. You'd win maybe plus 10,000 for that. Let's say the Patriots win 34-20. You'd win. Let's say the Patriots lose 20-12. That would hit. Let's say the Seahawks win 30-21. That would hit. So if you want to play squares, there's just tons of fun different bets that you can go and score on FanDuel. And as always, we want to thank FanDuel for being our sponsor, and just to make sure to bet responsibly when you are betting with FanDuel.
You know, I was half expecting like some prop that was related to like the commercials and all the other stuff that goes into the Super Bowl, the length of the halftime show, what Bad Bunny songs are going to be playing. I was expecting that low key, but it's probably somewhere that's doing it.
Yeah, I didn't see anything on FanDuel. I was trying to find that. It probably was on there, but I'm pretty sure if you guys are able to find that, let us know. And hey, maybe if you guys go to the page, go to our YouTube page, and maybe we'll share our parlays on there and compare and hey, if you guys really want to show us and send us your parlays, DM them to us or put them on the page at the Believe in ISU Twitter page. So we'd love to see that, and can't wait to watch the Super Bowl with you guys. All right, guys, that is going to be the end of the show. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Believe in Iowa State podcast, a top 15 sports podcast in the state, a top 10 sports podcast in the state of Iowa, and a top 40 overall listened to podcast in the state of Iowa. Thank you guys for supporting us and everything. If you want to find us on Twitter, I can be found on Twitter. I'm Tyler at SciTi Guy. Cody can be found at Twitter at Tierney's Burner. And make sure to follow us on social media: Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch. The Twitch handle is Believe in ISU 2025. All right, guys. That is going to be today's show. For Tyler Carter
and for Cody Manciolo,
this is the Believe in Iowa State podcast. Roll clones, baby.
Go Cyclones.